Hello guys, welcome back. In this video let's have a look on texture or alpha maps used in sculpting. So we know we have all these brush types here, and I'm going to use a texture to get some pattern in the strokes. So it generally makes your life easy when sculpting a high frequency detail which has got unique pattern or texture in it. So if you could see, we have when I pick a brush, you have a section called texture. So I can go to the tool settings here and then open the texture, which brings up the same setting there. So here I can create or add a new texture into this particular brush. Okay, so texture is basically a alpha or a black and white image which defines the amount of displacement based on the value of the color. So I can just click this button and it brings up a new texture, and I've not browsed any image into it. However, I can go to this button here and then go to the texture tab directly from there. Okay, so when I am here and then just click there, I go to the texture tab, and then you could open an image there. Okay, image is a very custom image which you have maybe downloaded or maybe created somewhere. So here if you could see the type of textures, there are different types of procedurals I could see, except that blend or image. If you could pick, like, let's say the cloud texture, and then I just press Ctrl+3 to divide it, and then when you click, you could able to see that nice texture formation there. Okay, and you could also pick different textures like Voronoi pattern, and then every texture has got different set of options, okay, which you can play around, and this can be used in creating patterns for this skin of a creature or maybe a metal or something like that. So achieving this kind of details is highly impossible if you are not going with the texture method. Okay, so if I just change this to image, then it will allow me to browse a picture. So I browse the picture here, you should able to see, and this picture has got a few options here, like it's like the file node and what all information you have. I mean, you can just, in this case, you can use a single image, and we don't use any UDIMs or sequences for painting, so single image should be fine. You have color space, you can generally switch to different color spaces if required. Again, you can keep it untouched, and you have alpha. So alpha is like a black and white image, okay, which defines, I mean, it's mainly plugged into the value of any information. So you take a photograph, and the brighter part will have a high intensity and the darker part will have a low intensity. Okay, so when I just click there, it will pull the points based on the intensity of the color. So alpha is what controlling it. So let me get into the tool settings here, and you should able to see we have a few options here. Okay, first one is the view plane. View plane is basically the way you are projecting this texture onto the model. So view plane is the point of view. I mean, when I rotate this model, and this is a view plane, and then I'm just projecting this alpha onto that model there. So it just throws that from this point of view. So when I just click here, you should able to see there's a slight stretch because those polygons are facing this side. So view plane is that, and then if you just switch this to area plane, and then when you click there, it avoids that stretch. And the reason is when I'm just dropping a stroke on a particular surface, the normals of the plane or the brush is what defining the projection plane there, and you're getting that non-stretched texture here. And you have options like scaling your texture, where the texture gets scaled, and also you have rotation of the texture, where you can rotate that texture here. Okay, we have a tiled image, where again you are dropping this, but when I just do this, it starts tiling there. So let me just compare this view plane and then just drop it here, and you should be able to see the result is quite abnormal. I mean, let's say if I just click and drag, you get this, and you got that overlap effect here. But when I choose a tile, you don't get that, because the view plane is becoming a tileable image there. Okay, then we have 3D, which is so 3D is suitable when you're dealing with the procedural textures what we had earlier. So it will take the vertex coordinates or the UV coordinates into consideration, and you get that placement there. Okay, and then we have random, so it throws random strokes when you're just dragging it, it's like when you're having a noisy image, preferably you can use that. Okay, and we have stencil, which brings up the stencil there. I can use a right mouse button and then just place it here, and then just click and drag. So the stencil is placed on the model, and when you drag, it's working in the stencil area. But when I just go beyond that stencil, I don't see that projection is really working beyond the stencil there. Okay, so you have shift right mouse button to scale, and then you have control right mouse button to rotate it. And when I'm doing this, let's say when I'm rotating this or scaling this like that, if you press X, and then you should be able to see I'm just scaling this in the X axis like that. Let's say if I'm scaling it and then press Y, and then I'm going to get that scale in the Y axis, and you could able to sculpt that one. So you can switch back to the view plane and you can get the result there. Sometimes when we are, let's say, applying the stroke is very much in the same angle. You can enable the random, which can throw the stroke in different angles here, just to get that randomized effect onto the model. Okay, so these are a few options you have in relation with the texture. As I told, you can always change your texture type to something else like that, and then you can explore these options and then get the result as per those requirements. As you could see, when I've created the procedural texture and when I'm using randomized effect, and you're getting this nice result there. You can also explore the tiled information, and then that basically tiles, and you won't get that messed up result here. You can also play with the strength to get that less intense stroke. Keep switching between the texture, and then you get that unique patterns over it. Okay, so these are all some options what you have when it comes to alpha as textures. You can create this alpha maps, okay, from any of the image editing softwares, like by converting a photograph into a black and white image and controlling those levels. The brighter pixels will pull it, and the darker pixels will stay there only. Okay, so it's like a value-based sculpting from an image. So that's what the whole idea is about. Okay, I found some free textures in ArtStation. I'll be sharing the link of this. You can download this in this category. If you're using for commercial, you can buy it. So I've downloaded this for the educational demonstration purpose. So once you have downloaded it, you get the PSD files, and you can generally use it in the Blender. So in Blender, I've already loaded them just by going into the brush. Just make a copy of this, and then go to the texture panel and open the file you are looking for. Okay, and I've scaled down the size to 1K just to suit my requirement here, and then select that image. I've saved it in the TIFF format also. So once I've got that, if I just click that, you should be able to get that nice cloth wrinkles there around the stitch. So you can go to the brush and then click there, and then choose any one of the brushes from the category there. You can play around the intensity, and then you can start putting those or dropping those textures as per your requirement. Again, as I told you, the intensity is something really important, and also you can start playing with the negative or positive sculpting. Okay, so use those textures. Okay, this generally ends up giving you that nice high frequency detail